Today we're going to talk about one of Debussy's most beloved work, the Sunken Cathedral. I want to spend our time on how to create sound effects in this piece to make it convincing and enchanting. And I'm going to show you how to use all three pedals together in this piece. At the very beginning of it, I will use the soft pedal. Now, when we play the soft pedal, many of us don't realize we don't have to press it all the way down. It depends on how we want the sound to be. When I want to create that distant, muffled, or really dark and withdrawn sound, I use all of the una corda pedal. You can see the keys being clearly shifted all the way to the right. And I do think at the very beginning, we can use that. So it sounds like it's coming from very, very far away, right? It's very distant. And then this theme, this idea is presented again very shortly. And in fact, it's presented 3 times in a row. So for each time, I would let go the soft pedal a little bit. So the second time I use half of what I just did because I want the sound to sound a little bit closer to me or to the audience. So it's coming out a little bit. And the last time, the third time when Debussy presents it, I lift the soft pedal more. Now about right here, I probably only have a quarter of it down and it sounds like this. And on that very last one, I brought out a little bit more at the base with the very top. Now on here, I let go of my damper. Very gradually, you hear the sound being cleared out. It's magical. Then I put it down again for the church bells. Now when the church bell comes in, it's actually very neat. Here is when most pianists, they would switch to a 3/2 time signature. At the very beginning of the piece, Debussy wrote 6/4 = 3/2. It probably means that he wanted to change within the piece at various places, but he didn't really tell us where to change, when to change, or if to change at all, right? So here, when the bells come in, that part, I think it's very reasonable to change right here, and I do like it, but you absolutely don't have to. Now I'm going to show you there are 2 places in this piece when you actually get to use the middle pedal finally on your piano. And the first place when it occurs is after the church has fully emerged from the water. You know, you have all these big octaves. You want it to be at the background to resonate with the rest of them. And the second time when it happens is when we modulate to this. When the chant comes in, it's this one that you want to sustain. Show you the craziest part in this piece, the most sinister part. It actually happens right before modulation, right here. This is okay, this is good. The next one is more piano, so I'm gonna put una corda for it to sound more distant. But listen to this part. Listen for the left hand. say this part could be the organ, big organ singing under the water, playing under the water. But for me, I feel that this is the most sinister part of this entire piece. And right here, it is the devil's chant. Bonus tip on how to create better sounds for this piece. As you know, the piano has an escaping point. What that means is when you drop your weight on the key, without pressing it, it gets to a point. And then if you press it again, it goes to the bottom of the keys. So that point is called an escaping point. For the beginning of the piece, we don't have to go past that escaping point. When you don't, the piano creates a very different sound. Just very lightly. I'm really just barely stroking it. The sound, I feel like it's very shallow, it's very distant, and this is what I want at the beginning of the piece, right? As we go on with this piece, when it fully emerges from the water, you know, it's got some really big bombastic chords. Here is when you can put down the weight. So satisfying to play. So I do want you to be aware when you're playing any piece, how much weight do you want to put on it?